This episode is produced and made possible with the help of Raycast Media.
Si le gustaría escuchar un episodio en español, por favor escuche el siguiente episodio.
Hi, good morning. My name is Miranda Barsna, and I'm part of the team of La Incubadora podcast. I am an ambassador for EGBI, as well as a financial advisor with Principal Financial. So happy to be here this morning. La Incubadora podcast is part of the Economic Growth Business Incubator, better known as EGBI, a local nonprofit with the mission to provide training, coaching, and support to aspiring and existing business owners who face barriers to growing a successful business. La Incubadora podcast is born out of the need to put in video and audio format a lot of the success stories that we see at the Business Incubator. We also want to answer frequently asked questions and connect small business owners with the resources to succeed in business on your own time and wherever you are while you have access to a mobile device, which is pretty much all the time nowadays, right? And of course, this episode is produced with the support of Raycast Media. EGBI sends a big thank you to Raycast Media for their partnership with La Incubadora podcast. So for today's episode, we welcome David Fuentes to unravel the profound impact of effective communication on small business success. Join in our conversation about how EGBI's Toastmasters chapter empowers entrepreneurs to refine their communication skills and excel in the business world. David shares captivating anecdotes about his personal and professional journey, highlighting the transformative role Toastmasters has played, from fostering a supportive environment to honing essential communication abilities. Toastmasters equips small business owners with the tools they need to thrive. Whether you're a seasoned public speaker or just embarking on your own venture, this episode offers actionable insights to elevate your communication prowess and propel your business towards success. And so with that, I want to give a warm welcome to David, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Miranda, for having us today and for having me on today's episode. It's nice to finally meet you in person. And so, yes, I'd like to give you a little bit more information about me and what I do here at EGBI. And so I'm the program coordinator at EGBI. I'm also our Toastmasters president for this chapter. And so I've worked alongside with Monica and one of our other staff members to really get this chapter up and running. We just had our second meeting last week. And so it was very exciting. And the vision behind this is to give a space for our entrepreneurs and our clients to really practice their public speaking abilities and also their leadership abilities. A lot of us come from a background where, we are employees and now we have to move up to these leadership positions, and Toastmasters is really giving that space to our entrepreneurs to develop those skills.
Fantastic. Well, David, thank you so much for being here today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So tell us a little bit about how you became involved with Toastmasters to begin with.
So when I first got involved with Toastmasters, I had no idea what it was. It was an invitation from a coworker. They had this idea for Toastmasters. And so for me, I started going over to the Oak Hill chapter here in Austin to try to learn a little bit more about what it is and also how these communication skills are developed. And so I went in not knowing anyone and not really knowing anything about Toastmasters. But then slowly I saw that each meeting, it's run very efficiently. So you have an agenda and you have an hour to go through the whole meeting. And so part of the process is everyone having a role to play in that meeting so that we each hold each other accountable. And so each Toastmasters meeting has different roles. So someone who keeps count of the time, someone who counts votes, someone who gives the 10-minute speech. And Initially, I was very scared, but then, sometimes in life you just have to raise your hand. And that was my moment, my first time being involved with Toastmasters. Ever since then, I've been participating every Wednesday here at EGBI, and just I'm still learning more about what it is and how to form that community through Toastmasters.
That's wonderful. That's
Mhm.
a great resource for small business owners in our area,
Yeah.
certainly. So, can you talk a little bit about Toastmasters International and their mission?
Yeah. So Toastmasters International, it's an international nonprofit focused on developing the professional and personal skills. Those are communication skills and leadership skills. And so a big part of Toastmasters is creating a community and a safe space where you're able to practice those skills. Again, some of us come from a background of having, you know, public speaking being something very stressful. And so first it's that community building, and then it's the getting into the meeting and learning the structure and learning the roles. Toastmasters holds its member accountable in different ways, and so there are learning pathways that you undergo depending on the skill that you want to develop. And so whether that be like kind of time management or organization of your speech, we also offer it in different languages. And so for number one, building community, but also building and creating a safe space, and then also having accountability and having a way of practicing speeches that we, whether personal or professional speeches that we give throughout our lives.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so, how has being involved with Toastmasters impacted your personal and your professional development?
So I found myself particularly in this position, if for professional development purposes, it's been very useful. I've never been very adept at public speaking. It's always been something that's gotten me nervous. But once you practice something over and over again, it becomes easier. Maybe that fear never goes away, but it becomes much easier and it becomes routine. On top of that, you learn how to use your body language in order to communicate. It's a big part of the way that you try to engage with your audience. Another thing is, again, being aware of your audience. So having kind of being very conscious of who is listening to you, whether, if you have a bilingual audience or if you're talking to an audience of small business owners, of community leaders, you have to adapt your speech to really communicate your message. In my personal life, these it, you whether we consider it public speaking or not, we do this a lot. Let's at our family events. We want to be able to communicate quickly and effectively, and really be able to be vulnerable in your message, but also have that organization so that your message is clear. And so it's really helped me. I just had a family event this weekend, and I was able to give a toast to my brother. Whereas previously I would get too nervous. I would just, um, my mind goes blank. But now through routine and practice, it's something that I've done before, and I know that I can keep doing.
That's great. Well, David, you're doing a great job
Yeah.
today. Just want to throw that
Thank
out
you.
there.
Thank you.
And so, as a member and officer of a Toastmasters chapter,
Mhm.
what do you see as the primary benefits for individuals who join?
The primary benefit that I've seen so far, we've only had 2 meetings so far in both languages. But I've already seen a lot of benefits from our members and from their experience and hearing their feedback. So I'll give you the example of one of our clients that has participated in Toastmasters. They are opening their spa here in Austin, and so they're having kind of a party, and they never even thought that they had to prepare a speech. Um, but part of part of the our mission with opening a Toastmasters chapter here in EGBI is giving our clients that space to really practice those speeches and making them routine prior to them having. So the nerves, you feel them when you're in a room of 30 people and all eyes are on you. And so last session we didn't have any speakers on the agenda, and so I asked for some volunteers. And surprisingly, she was someone who volunteered despite, being a little bit more like me, a little bit shy and not always used to public speaking. But that that inspired me to also volunteer in these roles and to also, practice the speeches that I have to give in my work. So that's one benefit, is whether you have to prepare for a speech for your professional life or your personal life. It helps having an audience. It helps really, if accounting for the factors that you can't necessarily control. Toastmasters is a space to really prepare, and prepare for the unexpected sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and how would you say that Toastmasters specifically benefits small business owners, and what kind of skills can they expect to develop through Toastmasters?
Yeah, it's something that I have seen just in these past 2 weeks is, um, sometimes we are so good at what we do, or are used to, we deal with it every day, that we might be experts at what we do, but it's another thing to be able to communicate that expertise to someone else. Um, and I'll give the example of, if you are selling, or if you're cutting hair, sometimes our product is or service is very clear, but the way you communicate it can really differentiate yourself, right? So maybe you're not just selling hair, maybe you're selling someone confidence. And that's the way you want to communicate in your marketing, right? It's something that's very appealing and something that can help differentiate yourself. Toastmasters is where you really learn how to do that, because you have 2 minutes there's a session where you give 2 minutes to give a speech. Within that 2 minutes, you have to communicate a clear message, and you have to explain what you do as a business owner. It's not a sell, but it is it's a form of an elevator pitch. And it's true that you have usually 3 minutes before someone stops listening. And so to learn how to communicate effectively is a skill that we will use in either in your small business or also just throughout life.
You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And so how does Toastmasters foster a supportive and constructive environment for improving communication skills?
Yeah, so a big part of Toastmasters is constructive feedback. So we tell each other what we did really well, and we recommend each other to go with our strengths, to really go with our strengths, and that kind of minimizes our weaknesses. So I have certain tendencies in my public speaking, and that I wasn't even aware of, right, until someone, through Toastmasters, kind of someone else analyzing the way that I speak and telling me from a place of development, from a very positive place, telling me what I did very well and also what I could improve on. And it gets very fun, because these are recurring meetings and we see each other every week, right? So the first one, everyone's nervous, everyone's doesn't know what to expect. After that, it becomes, hey, how are you? How are your kids? Oh, you included your kids in your story last time. Have they overcome whatever challenge they had last week? You start building that community, and you start being very intimate with one another. You are not scared of being scared in front of them anymore, because you know that it's a positive room and it's a safe space. So that's one way. Is through meeting each other every day, and really holding each other accountable, but also making it a fun activity, making it a safe space.
And that's so important, especially with something like communication skills, public speaking. That's fantastic. So for
Yeah.
any entrepreneurs who might be hesitant about joining Toastmasters, what would you say to encourage them to take the leap?
You know, I think the best thing is just show up. Um, the goal of Toastmasters is to get everyone to speak publicly. And for me, we never really we always try to get people to speak publicly, but that comes in different forms. It's, hi, welcome in. Can you tell us your name and last name and what you do? And that is enough, right? And that's a good first step is showing up. Even if you're scared of speaking in publicly, everything is volunteer based. I really recommend, especially if you have a fear of public speaking, it's one of those things where you just have to do it and just put yourself in the position. And once you start doing it, you realize sometimes you might even enjoy it. Sometimes it might give you a voice. And even if you don't enjoy it, it's a space to practice and a space to prepare. Um, so the first step is always the hardest. And so I recommend you just come right in and yeah, really try it. And if you don't like it, then you can say that you've done it and you've tried it, and it's something you can be proud of yourself for.
Absolutely. Got to take that first step for sure.
Yeah.
So, David, can you share a memorable or transformative moment that you've experienced through Toastmasters?
Yes. So my favorite part about Toastmasters is the community that's built. And so I've been getting to know a little bit more of our members and what they do, and even beyond that, a little bit more about themselves personally. So last week we had our second meeting in English, and there was a new participant that this was their first meeting of Toastmasters ever, and we did not have a speaker on the agenda. So I asked for some volunteers, and she shot up her hand. She shot up her hand, never having really met anyone in the room yet, uh, kind of being visibly nervous, but also excited. Um, and she gave an amazing impromptu speech about the importance of getting out of your comfort zone and the importance of just raising your hand, of just volunteering yourself. And, it was very inspiring because yeah, you hear about their story. They get very very vulnerable. They're honest with the way that they're feeling, but they're still doing it, and they're doing a good job at it too. After that, we saw tons of people just volunteering. Yeah, I asked for another 10-minute speaker, and someone shot up their hand and gave a 10-minute speech with very little preparation. And even in the later sessions, we had people who had not participated in the first meeting. They finally found their voice and the confidence to be able to present. And that's something that I'm taking away now, is sometimes you just have to volunteer yourself. Sometimes you just have to raise your hand, and you figure everything out after.
That is so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
You got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit to grow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, David, how can we find out more information about joining EGBI's Toastmasters?
The best way to get some more information is always through our website. So you can visit our website at egbi.org, and under services, you'll see our Toastmasters tab. There you can find out a little bit more about what Toastmasters is, and also when we're meeting. There's always a Toastmasters International website. And so there they have the explanation of all the roles in the different meetings, also the structure and the agendas. And you can always call us at our office, or you can email us. And so our phone number for our office is 512-928. Give me one moment. 512-928-2594. You can also email me at david@egbi.org, and I'm happy to share more information.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David. And friends, that's it for today, but it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, David, today. And we hope that you all find this episode useful to you. If you know someone who could benefit from listening to this episode, please share the link to this episode with them. And remember that the La Incubadora podcast is part of the Economic Growth Business Incubator, better known as EGBI, a business incubator in Central Texas that offers training, coaching, and support to small business owners with barriers to achieving success. So if you'd like to learn more about Economic Growth Business Incubator services, please visit egbi.org, and we will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.